Welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to be working on the brake lines and then start on the steering system for the blue truck. Right now we just mocked up and swapped the Chevy master cylinder on with an adapter plate. I was going to make one, but my plasma table decided it didn't want to. So the parts should be in tomorrow, so use this adapter plate off another build and found some fittings. I have a whole bunch of fittings just from all the builds that's been happening. So got those fittings with 3/16 line, and so all we gotta do is run back to this T for the rear brakes and then also for the front brakes, and then should be good to go. So get that all set up, make those new lines, and then start working on the axle side. So here's my brake line tools. Super simple, but it's what I like to use. I have a couple more tools, but this works for most everything. So I'm gonna start out with making the line from this T to here. So I'll use this fitting, and then I'm going to use a factory Toyota fitting. I'll cut off a line. This bracket here needs to be shaved down a little bit to bolt back up over here. So I made the line a tiny bit long, but it's all hooked up. So the next one, we're going to do a coupler on it to this fitting. That way we don't have to build a whole new line all the way across. Now that the master cylinder side's all mucked up, let's lift it up and start working underneath. So we're going to start in the rear. The LSPV, instead of deleting it with this rig, there's going to be a lot of different loads in the bed, so figured might as well keep it. So I'll make a little bracket to mount it, and that way through travel, depending on the load in the bed, it'll increase or decrease the brakes. So I'm gonna have to rebuild this line because it's all chewed up, but essentially I have a female end here that'll go into that, and then it'll come down to the axle, and then we'll build the brake lines off of that. So get to work. Got the new little line made there, and this line connected to the T-fitting. Just zip tied for the moment, but this is full droop. We still have a little play in it. So we'll start building the brake lines out, and then we'll make them out for that, and I'm out for the LSPV here. So pulled the intake off real quick so we can pull the power steering pump out. Just makes it a little bit easier. Gonna pull the lines out, reservoir and the pump. We're gonna be putting a new reservoir, new pump, and lines in it to support the hydro assist. So we got the reservoir out, pump out, and the little cooler lines out. Everything's stripped down, so now let's get the new parts out and start putting them in. So when I bought this kit, it came with this bracket, and with the Chevy 110 Master, it won't work because it will hit with the reservoir. So I'm gonna cut the bottom of it and move it and see if I make it work. Like it's supposed to be that way. Now it has plenty of clearance. Just gotta hook up the lines from here and the bottom, and then bottom goes to the pump, and then the other one goes to the cooler. Hook those up and get the cooler mounted and the box and start working on the ram. Got everything mocked up with the lines. We just need to put the cooler in. You get the lines run to that, and then the other two ports on the box will go to the ram. This truck has AC, so if I tried to put this here, it would hit the grill. It's not gonna work. So I'm gonna have to pull the radiator and mount it in between. So work on doing that. While the radiator was out, I figured I would weld up the back side of the steering box and get it all fish plated in, ready to go. So for the steering cooler, I just made a super simple bracket, couple bends, and it will bolt up to the back of the radiator. It'll be between the AC condenser and the radiator, right where the fan is, so it should pull well, and then the lines will come up the side. It's right between. Plenty of space on both sides. Shouldn't rub a hole or anything, and should cool nice. The fan's right in front of it. So get the lines ran, cut the length and to the steering, and finish it up. Drilled out the pitman arm to fit a 3/4 inch bolt. This will also get double sheared. Run heims on all the steering, so it'll come down to this side, and then I'm also going to drill out the knuckles here and get them ready to accept the heim joint as well. So let's get to it. Be able to fill the result of the bolt now. So we're going to use the old tie rod. Just take a measurement from end to end and use that measurement to build a new tie rod. New tie rod will be 1.5 inch 250 wall tube with 7/8 heims, neck down to 3/4 inch bolt, so that we can run this as a double shear setup and make it super strong. Get the steering all dialed in, and we can get the ram mounted and move on from there. And yes, I'm wearing a sweatshirt because it's been 100 degrees and now all of a sudden it's 50 degrees and raining. Yay. So you got the measurement off the old tie rod. This is the tube we'll be using for the new one. So we'll slide a heim in and we'll get our measurement. So from eye to eye should be 56 inches, and then we have the adjustment in the threads. So our measurement is 56 from center to the hole to the center. Did a little bevel on it and cut it down just to give us a nice little spot to weld. So ready to go on the truck. along with using the Hines for double shear with the upper arms that aren't on yet. But along with doing that, it also allows us to move the tie rod up and down to just get it a little bit higher up. And that way it doesn't hit the rocks as much. So about 1.5 inches up looks like it's what's gonna clear. So I'm gonna make a little spacer to space that up, and then we'll finish it all up once we have the high steer arm. So the tube we use to do double shear is 1 inch DOM that has 125 wall, which makes it a 3/4 internal diameter, which is the bolt size we're using. And if you want, you can also press this stuff over, which is 1.5 inch 250 wall, and that'll make it even beefier. But to start, we'll cut our 1.5 inch out of this and make our spacers to get the steering set where we want, so we can start working on the ram mount. So finally got the hardware for the steering. So we're gonna put those arms on, and then we'll start getting everything set up for the drag link, and then double shear all this and get the steering complete finally. Well, we got some cardboard, got the steering, we got the steering arms on. These arms are not the long drill it yourself arms, so to double shear it, I'm just gonna make a template out of cardboard, trace it all out to where I want it with the bolt coming up through, and then cut that on the plasma table, and that way it'll tie the top of the knuckle down to the lower part of the knuckle and just keep it nice and strong and not break the top off. Now we just got to cut this tube here for the top side, so measure that, and then the same thing for this side, and then that way it'll all clamp together and it won't pull on anything and be nice and strong. So